Brad Pitt just dropped a bombshell about George Clooney's divorce, and it's not the fairy tale Hollywood painted. Beneath the glamorous red carpets and lavish getaways, cracks had already formed, ones that even Clooney's charm couldn't fix. Conflicting ambitions, mounting tensions, and an unspoken truth lingered behind closed doors. But now, Pitt is pulling back the curtain on what really went wrong, and his revelation is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Stay tuned, because once you hear what he said, everything will start making sense. The glamorous illusion of Hollywood love. In the glimmering circus that is Hollywood, relationships are never just relationships. They're spectacles sold as flawless love stories until they're not. Case in point, George Clooney and Amal Alamuddin. When their divorce headlines hit, everyone went into meltdown mode, dissecting their lives like a reality show. Adding fuel to the fire? None other than Brad Pitt, who recently decided to spill a little tea about the real reason behind Clooney's marital meltdown. And let's just say it's not as romantic as the red carpets made it seem. But here's the kicker. Pitt's revelation could shatter everything we thought we knew about Hollywood's golden couple. Before we dive into the juicy stuff, let's rewind. Brad Pitt and George Clooney, Hollywood's golden duo, the poster boys for charisma and cool, cemented their bromance during the making of Ocean's 11. Off-screen, they were just as charming with their pranks, mutual admiration, and all-around vibe of being brothers for life. But here's the thing about friendships in Tinseltown. They're great fodder for tabloids. So when Clooney's perfect marriage to Amal Alamuddin crumbled, all eyes turned to Pitt, hoping for some behind-the-scenes drama. And boy, he delivered. Let's not sugarcoat it. George Clooney and Amal's 2014 wedding was peak Hollywood fantasy, a human rights lawyer and a perpetual bachelor. It was like a rom-com script. They were glamorous, globe-trotting, and always seemed to say the right things at the right time. Amal brought the brains, George brought the charm, and together they became the ultimate power couple. But real life isn't a press junket, and their high-octane careers turned out to be less compatible than they looked in glossy magazine spreads. Amal's lawyer life was all business and late nights saving the world, while George's Hollywood gig was jet-setting, schmoozing, and, let's be real, clinging to his free-spirited persona. If you thought balancing two demanding jobs was tough, imagine doing it on a global stage. Clooney, the Hollywood legend, lived for his movie sets and endless rounds of industry backpatting. Amal, on the other hand, thrived in courtrooms and diplomatic meetings. Pitt pointed out that the long stretches of time apart, he's in Hollywood, she's in Europe, turned their marriage into a long-distance relationship. And let's face it, long-distance relationships suck. Parenthood changes everything, even for superstars. In 2017, George and Amal had twins, Ella and Alexander, and it seemed like they'd settled into a picture-perfect family life. But according to Pitt, having kids amplified their differences. Clooney, ever the social butterfly, struggled to balance fatherhood with his whirlwind lifestyle. Meanwhile, Amal's vision of stability and structure clashed with George's love for spontaneity. Parenting isn't easy, and apparently, it's even harder when your lives are playing out on opposite sides of the globe. Let's not underestimate the role of the relentless media. Being chased by cameras, having every move dissected by tabloids. It's enough to make even the strongest bond crack. Pitt called it out bluntly. The constant attention didn't help. The world's obsession with their lives added a layer of stress that most of us can't even imagine. Brad Pitt, no stranger to messy public splits, didn't stop at Clooney's story. He went full-on reflective, calling out Hollywood's relationship curse. Fame, he said, amplifies every flaw and makes compromise that much harder. Romantic gestures and red carpet appearances might look great for the cameras, but they don't hold up against real-world problems like career conflicts and parenting challenges. We're human, Pitt reminded everyone. And maybe that's the takeaway. Strip away the glamour and the headlines, and what you're left with are two people trying to make it work and sometimes failing. George Clooney isn't the type to air his dirty laundry, and even post-divorce, he's maintained a classy silence. In a rare interview, he described his time with Amal as incredible and emphasized his commitment to co-parenting. It's a masterclass in taking the high road, even when the world's watching. Clooney and Amal's divorce is a reminder that no relationship, no matter how glamorous, is immune to real-life problems. For fans, it's a peek behind the curtain, a chance to see that even Hollywood's elite can't escape the struggles of balancing love, family, and careers. Digging deeper into Pitt's reflections, Hollywood couples often find themselves victims of a paradox. They have the resources to lead extraordinary lives, but that very extravagance often drives them apart. Pitt's own turbulent history with Angelina Jolie mirrors this pattern. Like Clooney and Amal, Pitt and Jolie appeared to have it all: a big family, successful careers, and a whirlwind romance. Yet the constant demands of public life and personal ambitions added cracks to their foundation. One of the more surprising elements of Pitt's commentary was his willingness to highlight the mundane struggles of marriage, even in the context of a Hollywood super couple. Clooney's penchant for a more relaxed, jet-setting lifestyle reportedly clashed with Amal's need for stability and structure. While these differences might seem minor at first, over time, they can create an unbridgeable divide. Pitt's insight into this dynamic underscores the universal truth that all relationships, no matter how glamorous, require compromise and understanding. The addition of twins to the mix only amplified these challenges. Parenthood is a transformative experience, but it's also a test of resilience and adaptability. For Clooney and Amal, the demands of raising children while juggling global careers added a new layer of complexity. Pitt's take on this aspect of their relationship serves as a reminder that even the most capable parents can find themselves overwhelmed by the demands of modern family life. Pitt's observations about media scrutiny offer another layer of context to the Clooney-Almudden divorce. For decades, Clooney has been one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces, and Amal's emergence as a public figure only heightened their visibility. The relentless attention from paparazzi and tabloid speculation created an environment where privacy was nearly impossible to maintain. Pitt's reflections on Clooney and Amal's divorce go beyond mere gossip. They serve as a broader commentary on the challenges of sustaining love in a world that demands perfection. Whether it's the pressure to conform to societal expectations or the difficulty of balancing personal and professional ambitions, the obstacles faced by Hollywood couples are not so different from those encountered by everyday people. The key difference, however, lies in the scale of these challenges. While most couples can navigate their struggles away from the prying eyes of the public, Hollywood stars must do so under constant scrutiny. This added layer of pressure can amplify even minor disagreements, turning them into insurmountable obstacles. Even Hollywood's brightest love stories can hide real struggles. A tale of friendship and fame. Let's get this straight. Hollywood friendships don't exactly have a reputation for standing the test of time. All those red carpets, award season snubs, and competitive egos usually mean friends forever lasts about as long as a box office flop stays in theaters. But then there's George Clooney and his trusted partner in crime, the golden pair who've somehow managed to keep their bond intact for over 20 years. And yes, they're still riding that wave. Even though the rest of Hollywood's friendships have gone the way of Clooney's bachelor lifestyle, outdated and retired. Their little tale of camaraderie kicked off way back in the year 2000 on the set of Ocean's 11. You'd think two huge stars would circle each other like wary cats, but nope. Sparks flew, platonic sparks, that is. According to Clooney, who loves a good soundbite, they hit it off instantly. And just like that, they were off to the races. Not in the romantic sense, relax, tabloids, but in the let's make millions on screen together while having a blast sense. A win-win, right? From there, they hopped onto the Hollywood conveyor belt of sequels and side projects. Ocean's 12. Because when has Hollywood ever resisted cashing in? Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Money Monster, and more recently, Ticket to Paradise. Every movie featured that patented Clooney and company banter that's half charm, half eye-roll-worthy sarcasm. Critics called it chemistry. Skeptics might call it showing up for a paycheck with a buddy you tolerate. Either way, the formula worked. Moviegoers lapped it up, and their partnership became something of a brand. If Hollywood's favorite friends was a stock, you'd want to invest. Off-camera, their dynamic is 1 part mutual support and 2 parts elaborate prank war. Clooney, famous for being Hollywood's resident joker, met his match in his co-star. She's no saint either when it comes to on-set antics. Together, they've delighted and tormented co-stars and crew alike with endless pranks. One has to wonder, does this humor stem from genuine affection or just boredom during endless takes? Whatever it is, it's been good for headlines. And then there's the personal stuff. Clooney spent the early 2000s convincing the world he was a permanent bachelor, only to blindside everyone by marrying Amal Alamuddin, an accomplished human rights lawyer, in 2014. By 2017, he had twins. Roberts herself is no stranger to the spotlight. She's navigated her own roller coaster of fame, family, and film flops. Let's not pretend every movie was a Pretty Woman, but through it all, there's Clooney, ready to gush about her talent, humor, or whatever other compliment will make headlines that day. In return, Roberts is quick to call Clooney her favorite co-star or share a cute anecdote about their friendship. It's almost like they're trying to keep their brand alive. Cynical? Maybe. But Hollywood thrives on nostalgia, and these two have plenty to go around. No Hollywood friendship is complete without a side of public intrigue. Clooney's personal life has always been fodder for gossip rags, so when whispers of trouble in paradise popped up about his marriage, it didn't take long for Roberts' name to get dragged into the narrative. Did she really break her silence about Clooney's rumored issues? Hard to say, but even if she didn't, the gossip machine loves to spin a good tale. Roberts and Clooney's friendship, solid as it might be, isn't immune to Hollywood's favorite pastimes, creating drama where there might not be any. Expanding beyond the publicized moments, the longevity of their friendship may rest on something less glamorous than Hollywood likes to admit: workplace camaraderie. For decades, the set of a film has been a second home to actors, and shared hours under hot lights or repeating lines dozens of times often forges connections that might not develop anywhere else. Clooney and Roberts exemplify this phenomenon. In the dozens of interviews and press junkets they've done together, there's a visible ease between them. It's the kind of casual banter that usually doesn't survive in an industry where publicists and egos loom large. Perhaps their friendship is less a miraculous anomaly and more a byproduct of shared career paths. Still, the constant polishing of their Hollywood's best buddies image raises eyebrows. For all the pranks and laughter, there's a very intentional marketing machine at play. Their shared projects have netted hundreds of millions of dollars, and a good chunk of that is owed to the story of their partnership off-screen. Audiences aren't just buying tickets for the film, they're buying into the relationship that's been carefully curated over decades. It's a strategy that's worked well for both of them, and it's part of why their friendship has stayed front and center in the public consciousness. Let's not forget how rare their bond is in a world dominated by fierce competition. Hollywood is notorious for being a dog-eat-dog world, where actors often see each other as threats rather than allies. It's worth questioning whether Roberts and Clooney's friendship has endured partly because they're rarely competing for the same roles. Their careers have taken distinct paths, Roberts as America's sweetheart and Clooney as Hollywood's debonair everyman. There's little overlap, which might explain why their friendship has remained untainted by professional jealousy. Even with all the goodwill, their friendship isn't entirely immune to public scrutiny. Clooney's foray into family life has often been juxtaposed with Roberts' well-documented challenges in maintaining privacy for her own children. Their vastly different approaches to balancing personal and professional lives have occasionally invited commentary about who's doing it better, an unfair and frankly tired narrative that plays into stereotypes about men and women in Hollywood. But for the most part, they've managed to sidestep the pitfalls that often drag long-term friendships into the mud. Every partnership has a star who stands out. Of course, longevity alone doesn't make a friendship admirable. What sets Clooney and Roberts apart is their willingness to lean into their public personas and laugh at themselves in the process. Whether it's Clooney roasting Roberts during award shows or Roberts sharing behind-the-scenes anecdotes that feel carefully vetted but still funny, they've mastered the art of self-aware celebrity friendship. They're in on the joke, and that's part of what makes their dynamic so appealing to fans. Let's talk about Julia Roberts. You know, America's sweetheart, whose grin could light up a room or, apparently, distract you from thinking too hard about her career choices. Born to actor parents Betty Lou and Walter Roberts, Julia practically grew up with the smell of theater dust in her nostrils. Her parents ran some artsy little thing called the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop, so it's not exactly shocking that she ended up in Hollywood. When you're raised with parents staging monologues in the living room, what else are you going to do? Sell insurance? Please. Julia's early years weren't exactly glitzy. After trudging through Campbell High School, no scandals there, boring, She briefly dabbled in higher education at Georgia State University. But shocker, college didn't stick. Instead, she packed up and headed to New York City, chasing her big break. Spoiler, she got it, but not right away. Her acting debut came with a small role in the TV show Crime Story in 1987, where she played a juvenile intimate victim. Then came Satisfaction in 1988, a film no one talks about because, frankly, it's not worth talking about. But hey, everyone's got to start somewhere, right? Fast forward to 1990, and Julia hit the jackpot with Pretty Woman. Suddenly, she wasn't just an actress, she was a phenomenon. People couldn't get enough of her hooker with a heart of gold act. The film was a box office smash, and Julia had officially arrived. Did the script have depth? Not really. Did people care? Absolutely not. From there, her career became a roller coaster of romantic comedies, dramas, and the occasional dud. My Best Friend's Wedding, 1997, and Notting Hill, 1999, solidified her as the go-to for romantic leads. Then came Erin Brockovich, 2000, where she ditched the rom-com fluff and won an Oscar. You'd think that would have marked a new era of serious roles, but no. She wasn't about to give up the paycheck-friendly charm of crowd pleasers. Julia's collaborations with George Clooney began with Ocean's 11 in 2001. Their chemistry was undeniable, mainly because they seemed to genuinely like each other. Hollywood's fake friendships are a dime a dozen, but this one seemed real. They followed it up with Ocean's 12 and a few other projects, including Ticket to Paradise in 2022, where their banter carried the film more than the plot ever could. Rumors about George's personal life eventually brought Julia into the conversation. The internet loves drama, and any comment she made was carefully dissected, analyzed, and memified, because that's just how we roll in the 21st century. Did she reveal anything groundbreaking? No, but her presence always seems to add fuel to the fire, ensuring that neither she nor George will ever be far from the spotlight. Meanwhile, Julia's personal life is pretty tame. She's been married to cinematographer Daniel Moder since 2002, and they've got 3 kids. She keeps her private life, well, private. For someone who's been in the spotlight for decades, that's an achievement in itself. While she's still working, her recent projects include Leave the World Behind and narrating Lisa Marie Presley's memoir. She's clearly prioritizing family over fame these days. Now, about her friendship with Clooney. These two have managed to stay close despite Hollywood's notorious knack for chewing up relationships and spitting them out. They've pulled pranks, praised each other in interviews, and generally behaved like two people who genuinely enjoy each other's company. It's refreshing, sure, but also a little nauseating in that, oh look, they're just like us kind of way. Except they're not. They're absurdly rich, absurdly famous, and can probably order room service in their sleep.